Friends, today we are going to discuss the second topic from the spectroscopy, and the title of this topic is a nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. In short, it is called as NMR spectroscopy. Initially, we have studied the IR spectroscopy, and the importance of that IR spectroscopy is to detect functional groups that are present in the organic compound. Here, the important scope or the main significance of studying this NMR spectroscopy is to know the structure of organic compound. We can assign the structure to the unknown organic compound just by recording the NMR spectrum of that compound. So, these are the three guys who contributed greatly as far as the NMR spectroscopy is considered. The first person is Rabi, second one is Purcell, and third one is Bloch. Purcell and Bloch received Nobel Prize in 1952 for their valuable contribution in NMR spectroscopy, and here it is the NMR spectrometer having capacity 1 gigahertz, which is present in France. So, what is the scope of this NMR spectroscopy? As it is involved in the syllabus and as it is the part of curriculum, we have to study this topic, and the significance of this NMR spectroscopy is to know the structure of organic compound. The compound which is prepared isolated from natural sources or prepared in laboratory by artificial means. Such compound are analyzed for their structure determination, and the structure of the such compounds can be assigned by using NMR spectroscopy. The second important scope of this NMR spectroscopy is in the job opportunities. So, after studying or after getting the enough knowledge of NMR spectroscopy and after completion of a short term course as an NMR operator, the person can get the job as NMR operator. So, this is the scope of this topic. Now, let us see the content of this topic or the points that we are going to discuss under this topic. The first one is introduction of the topic, then principle, instrumentation, magnetic and non-magnetic nuclei means what. So, frequently the question was there in the university exams, write a short note on magnetic and non-magnetic nuclei. So, we are going to discuss the magnetic and non-magnetic nuclei in details in the due course. So, the next point is chemical shift. This point we are going to discuss with respect to definition, measurement, calculations, factors affecting on chemical shift, etc. So, the next point is shielding and de-shielding. So, what is shielding and de-shielding, that we will discuss under this point, and what is the effect of shielding and de-shielding as far as the chemical shift of the protons is considered. The next point is peak integration. So, in NMR spectrum we get different peaks for different types of protons. So, each and every peak should get integrated so as to know the correct area, and that area is essential to know the number of particular types of protons. So, peak integration is important. Next point is merits of TMS as PMR reference compound. TMS is nothing but the tetramethylsilane, and PMR means again proton magnetic resonance spectroscopy. NMR is the general term, whereas PMR is the specific term. In the PMR spectroscopy, we are considering the nucleus of hydrogen, and the nucleus of hydrogen is nothing but the proton. The next point is coupling constant, which is denoted by capital J letter, and it is expressed in Hertz. So, this is again play the important role as far as the types of protons are considered, especially in case of aromatic protons, whether the protons are ortho, meta or para, that can be decided by using this coupling constant. The next point is types of coupling constants. Thereafter, we are going to discuss the spin-spin splitting, and in the end we are going to discuss the applications of NMR spectroscopy. Now, let us see the introductory part of the nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. The word nuclear stands for nucleus. There must be nucleus of particular magnetic nuclei of the atom. Now in this year we are going to discuss only the proton magnetic resonance spectroscopy. So the students which will who will go for PG, that is to study MSc, then they will face or they will learn their C13 NMR spectroscopy. So in PMR spectroscopy, nucleus of hydrogen, which is nothing but the proton, is considered. In case of C13 NMR, carbon 13, the nucleus of carbon 13 is considered. The second word of the title of this topic is magnetic. Magnetic, that must be related with the magnetism. So there must be magnets, magnetic field and magnetism. So that word comes here, magnetic. So the first word is nuclear, second word is magnetic, third word is resonance. So resonance is nothing but the matching of frequencies. Suppose a transmitter is sending radiations of certain frequencies, and if the receiver is tuned at the same frequencies, then the transmitted frequency will get absorbed by the receiver, and this is possible only because there is matching of frequencies of receiver and transmitter. Therefore this effect is called as a resonance effect. So resonance plays the important role in NMR spectroscopy. And the last word of the title of this topic is spectroscopy. As we have discussed the meaning of the spectroscopy, interaction of matter with the radiations is called as spectroscopic technique. So in NMR spectroscopy we are using radio radiations, and the compound is subjected to the radio radiations, and this technique, hence it is the spectroscopic technique. So this is the elaboration of nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. Now what is the radio frequency used in NMR spectroscopy? The range of radio frequency is 100 to 600 megahertz. So the radio frequency range is variable in between 100 to 600 megahertz. So which samples or the organic compounds in which state can be analyzed? The organic compounds can be analyzed in solid state, liquid state, as well as in gaseous state. So whatever is the physical state, we can analyze that organic compound, for its structure determination. And the last, kinetic studies and structural studies can be carried out by using NMR spectroscopic technique. Now what is the NMR spectrum? So NMR spectrum is the plot of a chemical shift on x-axis versus peak intensity. So chemical shift is expressed in two scales. First one is delta scale and second one is tau scale. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 11. So the scale increases from right to left. So this scale is called as a delta scale, and reverse of this, that is, if the scale is increasing from left to right, means 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 11 or 12, then that scale will be called as tau scale. So we are using delta scale, which is increasing from right to left. So this is delta scale and its unit is in ppm. So if you look at these two arrows, yellow colored arrows, it has been mentioned here upfield or shielded and downfield or deshielded. The protons, organic compound contains different types of protons. So these protons cannot be distinguished by chemical test, but by using NMR spectroscopic technique we can distinguish one proton from another proton which are present in the organic compound. So the protons which are showing peaks at low delta values in this region, low delta values, so such protons are called as shielded protons, and this side is called as high field side. Low delta value means high field side, and the protons which are showing the peaks in this region will be considered as shielded protons. So the second part of this plot is called as downfield side or de-shielded side. So the protons which are showing the peaks at higher delta values, that is in this region, such protons will be considered as de-shielded protons, and this region is called as a downfield side of the NMR plot. This is the downfield side, means higher the delta value, the protons will be de-shielded, and this region is nothing but the low field side or downfield side. So this is about the NMR plot. So here, in addition to this, you will see two peaks. One is for TMS, another one is CDCl3. So these, what is this TMS and CDCl3? As I told you, TMS is nothing but the tetramethyl silane, which consists of 12 equivalent protons, and CDCl3 is nothing but the deuterated chloroform. So either of these can be used as a reference compound or standard compound while recording the NMR spectrum of any organic compound. Mostly TMS is used as a reference compound. So why TMS is used as a reference compound? Such type of question has already been asked in the earlier exams. So number of 5 to 6 reasons are there. So we can give those reasons for why TMS is used as a reference compound. So TMS, as it consists of 12 equivalent protons and it shows the peak, a strong singlet, a single peak. Singlet means a strong singlet having high intensity. So the TMS shows a peak, or the position at which TMS shows a peak will be considered as 0 position or 0 delta scale. And from this position of the TMS peak, the scale begins as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 11 or 12. So this is beyond this, beyond TMS peak. Beyond TMS peak means right side of this, right side, at the right side of this TMS peak, no organic compound shows the NMR peak, and hence TMS is used as a reference compound or standard compound while recording the NMR spectrum of organic compound. Now let us consider the NMR spectrum of ethanol. Ethanol, as we know, CH3 CH2OH. This is the structure of ethanol. So ethanol consists of 3 types of protons. So these 3 red colored protons are of one type, these 2 blue colored protons are of second type, and this is the green one green colored proton which is of third type. So it consists of 3 types of protons, red, blue and green. So these 3 types of protons, as it consists of 3 types of protons, NMR spectrum of ethanol will show 3 peaks. One is for OH proton, second one is for CH2 protons, and third one is for methyl protons. So number of protons, or we can say here number of peaks, 1, 2, 3, 3 peaks are there. So 3 types of protons must be present in the organic compound. Number of peaks is directly equivalent to the types of protons, remember. Now this is the PMR spectrum of ethanol at low resolution. Let me zoom this. So these are the broad peaks for CH3, CH2 and OH under low resolution, and this is the PMR spectrum of ethanol under high resolution. Now see the difference between PMR spectra of ethanol under low resolution and high resolution. So let's consider this peak for methyl proton. Under low resolution it is a broad singlet, but under high resolution it is splitted into 3 peaks. 3 peaks are there and it is called as a triplet. CH2 proton, single broad peak under low resolution. Under high resolution it shows a splitted or 4 peaks are observed, and this peak is called as choroid. Since 4 peaks are there, it is called as choroid. OH group is single under low resolution. Under high resolution also it shows a single peak, and hence it is called as a singlet. So this is the difference between the PMR spectra of ethanol under low resolution and under high resolution. So in short, we can say that under low resolution we observe broad peaks for the different types of protons, whereas for under high resolution we are getting the splitted peaks for different types of protons. Now if single peak is there, then it is called as singlet. Then if we have 2 peaks with equal intensity, the intensity of these 2 peaks, if it is equal, then it will be called as doublet. This is triplet, this one is quartet. If 5 peaks are there, then it will be called as quintet. 6 peaks, sextet. 7 peaks, sextet, etc. So this is the PMR spectrum of ethanol under low resolution and high resolution. In similar way, different organic compounds will exhibit the PMR spectrum, and just by looking at the PMR spectrum it is possible to assign the structure for organic compound. So for example, if you consider acetone CH3COCH3, it consists of 6 protons which are of one type. So acetone shows, if we look at the PMR spectrum of acetone, we will observe only a single peak, and the peak pattern for that will be singlet. If we consider acetaldehyde CH3CHO, it consists of 2 types of protons, and hence we will observe 2 peaks in the PMR spectrum of acetaldehyde. In this way, for each and every organic compound we will have different number of peaks, then peak pattern, and just by looking at the PMR spectrum of such compounds, it is possible to assign the structure for the organic compound. Students, if you have any difficulties or queries, you can ask me. Thank you very much.